Smells amazing, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh mate, do you know what? I had the window open and I've been farting in here on my own all day. So. You know when you're you're very conscious about the musk that you're leaving behind.
That's what our shop's like.
Is it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It smells like shit and whatever aftershave everyone's.
Unique selling point, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it smells of shit in it. Yeah. That's how it smells.
Cheers, boys.
Cheers, lads. Cheers. Thanks for having us, man.
Don't be silly.
Jobsworth, Season 2, Episode 10, The Local Lads. Welcome to episode 10 of Jobsworth Season 2. It's double trouble once again this week as I sit down with Sam Hamblin and Ed White, owners of The Local Merchants, a menswear business based in Leigh-on-Sea. Sam and Ed met at school, and as you'll come to learn, they've been inseparable ever since. We discussed their experience of school, how they first developed their love of fashion, how that was perceived by their mates, and how their sense of style has evolved over the years too. Despite heading down different paths after leaving education, Sam and Ed's friendship never faltered, and you could almost say it was fated that the two of them would one day bring their very particular sets of skills to bear on their own venture. Before that though, we look back at their earlier careers and the experiences that would ultimately lead them to setting up shop in the heart of Leigh-on-Sea. Running a business with your best mate? It's not for everyone, but Sam and Ed just seem to make it work. We explored a secret to their successful collaboration, the importance of transparency, and the value of playing to your strengths. I also find out why it's so important to build genuine relationships with your customers and how that shapes their approach to customer service. The Local Merchants has just celebrated its second anniversary. In a sector that can be notoriously hard to crack, Sam and Ed's business has become firmly entrenched in the local area, and whilst they're officially outsiders, don't tell anyone though, this comedy duo have been welcomed by the community with open arms. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the two new kids on the block in Leigh-on-Sea, and two of the nicest, most authentic guys you're likely to meet. Sam and Ed. So the opening question on the podcast, if you've listened to 3, Sam, you'll know, and Ed, if you remember the one you listened to, then you'll know as well. So the opening question is always, when you were younger, what did you want to be when you grew up? So Ed, I'm going to start with you.
You're going to start with me?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we've already had this sort of conversation ourselves, but really, I have never had an idea of what I wanted to do.
Okay.
Like, just sort of floated. And I don't know, really. It's just like a lot of pressure put on, like that question. What do you want to do? And it was just like from school, I went to university and all of that, and I still at that point was like,
still didn't know.
Yeah. And then I sort of ran away and went travelling.
Just abandoned it all and just
Yeah.
So when you were a kid, no aspirations, no dreams. You were just sort of sold on the fact that you just didn't have
I mean, look, my dad, he was an insurance underwriter. He had a very successful business. I went to work for him for a bit. And from that, I was just, it was really hard following in my dad's footsteps sort of thing. That was the like, oh my God, I can't do this. Like, yeah. So I was like, well, I need to go to university because that's what people do. Or that's what I thought. And I went to university, and I still was a bit like, well, I wanted to be an architect, ended up doing building surveying. Okay. Got a 2-1, and I was like, right, okay, let's put this into practice, and went straight in to do land management. And from there, I was like, this is incredibly boring. I'm not getting anything out of it. And was like, I can't do this for the rest of my life. So I went travelling.
Right. We're going to pick that back up, and we can talk a bit more about your adventures. Sam seems happy about that. Go on in, Sam. What did you have any dreams when you were young?
Mate, I don't want to upset you, but it's pretty much the same answer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
No, I'll tell you what it was. I've always got away with just doing the bare minimum. Right. I've sort of plodded through school. I come from, like, my family are very academic.
Okay.
My mum was a special needs advisor, teacher as well for special needs children. My dad was a teacher who's retired now as well. So I always sort of thought I was going to go down that route.
Okay.
I just thought, yeah, that's, my parents do it and they're bloody good at it. So,
Have you got brothers and sisters?
yeah, I've got a brother. He's doing a PhD at the moment. So that's what I mean. They're all academics. Yeah. My sister is a child therapist. So I'm like the black sheep of the family. I was the artistic one.
Right.
I went to sixth form. I got kicked out of sixth form because my attendance was not. Well, I didn't go.
Okay.
And then I took a year off. I worked in JD Sports. Then I went to college to do music technology in Colchester Institute. I enjoyed it a lot, but then I started realising there weren't really no dough in it.
Right.
So then I became a forklift driver.
Okay.
For UK Mail, which is now owned by DHL. And I worked in
Was that
Braintree.
a plug then? You plug in DHL?
Yeah, big up DHL, yeah?
Yeah.
Tony.
Yeah. We're looking for sponsors, actually.
Yeah.
not
our delivery
relevant.
driver Tony's the best in the business. I'll put a word in for you. And then from there, mate, went into menswear.
Okay.
So I started doing menswear when I was like 22, just doing a full-time job as a sales associate.
Right.
Really, for an independent business in Chelmsford, a very, very successful business.
Yep.
And sort of learned how to do buying, selling, obviously.
Okay.
Sort of rolled with it. And now I've been doing menswear for 12 years.
Wow. I'm gonna rewind it then slightly, because what you've done with those questions is basically answered the next three questions in one answer, which is brilliant. No, because you've saved me a job from asking it as well.
Yeah, to cut it down, I didn't really have anything in mind to be when I was older. Not this, anyway.
No, not doing this. Yeah. And sometimes I start by asking that question just because I want to see if it's related or if it's linked to what it is you're doing now. But if you're struggling to think of having, I don't know, those aspirations or dreams as a kid, I didn't have any either. So if I was on a podcast being asked that, I would pretty much answer the same thing.
Yeah.
But some people I speak to, if you listen to my brother's he knew from a very young age what he wanted to do. Charlotte, who was on very similar kind of mindset, they were very driven into what they wanted to do early on. Okay, so I want to take, because you two are best friends, aren't you?
Yeah.
Are you best friends?
Yeah, I think we are.
I'm not going to test it at any point, but okay. So you've known each other since what age? When did you meet?
Secondary school.
Yeah, we met when we were 11. Yeah.
Okay. What secondary school did you go to?
We went to a lovely, lovely sunny school called Highland School.
It's beautiful.
In Chelmsford.
Okay.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. See, we're from different.
Or as we spell it, SHIT Hull.
Okay. So what was your experience like at school then? So you met each other, and did you just click straight away, even in year?
Well,
we're talking year 7, aren't we?
You took me under your wing, didn't you? Yeah. I was a little bit of a nerd.
Okay. And what was Sam? If you were a nerd, what was Sam?
Well, I mean, you really liked David Beckham, didn't you?
I love David Beckham.
You could probably say you had every haircut.
Every haircut. Skinhead, mohawk. Yeah.
So
mullet.
Yeah, it's just like, like
both my ears pierced with big old fake diamonds.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot imagine that.
Yeah.
Can we have some
I look
pictures?
like a twat. If you look back now to my school
I was
photos,
imagining that.
Twat with acne. That's what I look like.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way of putting it.
Yeah.
But you clicked.
Yeah. We I met you through Skinner, didn't I?
Yeah.
One of our friends who we're still friends with now. And yeah, I thought Ed was, I must admit, very, very cool lad. Like, he was into the same music that my brother got me into. So either indie rock or at that time hip hop and grime and stuff like that. So we sort of clicked over that. And also, to be fair, like clothes.
Yeah, that was
what we started connecting over without any romance involved. But yeah, so yeah, we started I remember when we used to get jeans from H&M, when we used to rip them with Henry and stuff and try and mimic like the Levi 501 ripped ones and stuff. Yeah. We used to do that, and we used to get the same Nike Dunks and stuff. And
nice, man. Yeah. So how was that perceived? Was that at your school? Because I'm trying to think back to me being that age, and I was not into fashion. And if you saw pictures of me then, you'd have fucking realised it as well. And I don't think any of my friends were really. But was that a thing at your school, or was that just a thing that you both shared? Did you feel like you were a bit of outliers in that?
No, I'd say it was like our group really. Me, you, Skinner and Henry, we got into clothes. Probably, to be fair, because of my big brother. Sorry,
I'd
I
say
keep
that's-
doing what you said. I keep looking at it.
That's all right. No?
Because my big brother, he's 4 years older than me, and he sort of showed us the way. He was like 16, 15, 16 when me and Ed met. You know, he was at that age when he started going out, like, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going underage to bars and stuff and dressing well. So we sort of got it from that, I guess. No, I wouldn't. I mean, you know, we had a little bit of that, but we were at the same time chavs, really. You know, we did the Burberry socks tucked into jogging bottoms, all stuff like that. Still went through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I took it up a level. I went for like the red Burberry socks.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well,
he'd always
just
had a little
changing
bit.
it up a little bit.
nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
A little bit of flamboyance.
Va-va-boom.
yeah.
that-
So your style is what you're saying is not as refined as it is now.
No, yeah. I think I just, yeah, absolutely.
But you go through those stages. I did. And college for me was, if I had to look back at pictures of myself and what I used to wear through college, I'd cry or feel really sorry for the person that I was looking at pictures of, because I used to dress like shit. It was so bad, and no one was telling me that I was. I think my mum used to do a lot of my shopping for me. So that was my experience. But you go through those awkward phases, like you said.
Of course.
You know, you go through the awkward phases to then learn what it is you actually want to dress like, look like,
100%.
find your style.
100%. I think like that's the same for anyone though, John, especially if you're following fashions and trends. Like when we went to, when I went to college and stuff, I dressed like an idiot. Like the rosary beads and all stuff, that sort of style. Those like Kanye West glasses when you go to a club and shit.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool, man. It's really cool.
It's just
But yeah, you're not the only one.
I know. To be honest, though, I used to just throw stuff on. You know, like, well, they're multicoloured. I'll put them on my feet. I didn't really care.
Yeah, you've never really cared. Have you?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, I care about some things. I love raccoons. I'll get that in, by the way.
I love beavers, the animal. But yeah, so going back to school, that's what we sort of, and we like football as well. We played for the same football team.
Yeah.
And yeah, we started hanging out with each other all the time.
Yep.
Went on a holiday together, didn't we?
Yeah, we
Stuff
did.
like that when we were
Parks.
with my mum, my sister. Yeah,
So that was a good bonding.
That was a very good bonding
experience.
time. Yeah, fond memories.
Where did you go?
Oh, I remember vividly that we listened to Donnell Jones' album a lot. So what's that? We must have been probably 13.
Yeah, something like that.
2003.
Yeah.
Riding our bikes around the forest, you know, winding our hair.
Where was it?
Yeah.
Where was it? Centre Parks.
Yeah, Centre Parks. Yeah,
I was.
Centre
Yeah.
Parks, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
A lot of nostalgia about it.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then we've been, like best pals ever since, until he left me.
Yeah, I
To
floated
Australia.
in and out, didn't I?
Yeah. He was dead to me for a few years, but then he come back.
What prompted the travelling then, Ed? Why?
I wanted to. I honestly, I wanted to escape. You know, I was still living at my parents' house. I didn't really know where I was going. Like I said, I didn't have a sort of pathway of what job I wanted to do. I was like, right. I went away for a year, did like proper traveling, like traveled to loads of places, and I was like, look, I want to go back to Australia. I love it there. You know, like it's the beach at your doorstep, and like you just literally leave work and you meet all your mates, and it just felt like fun. I guess I was stuck in that sort of. Now looking back at it, it was an amazing experience, but it was just like, again, I was escaping it, but I wasn't really escaping anything. I was just sort of floating around. I had long hair, didn't wear shoes. You know.
Yeah.
Going to the servo, getting a pie, and just loving life. But
Now you're describing this. What are we doing here?
Yeah, this is making this sound very mundane.
Yeah.
So what? Did you have brothers and sisters?
yeah, I've got a younger sister and then two older sisters. But it's quite a big age gap.
Right.
Between the older sisters, but I still see them all the time.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think with your dad was kind of this example of someone that was very successful and ran a successful business.
Yeah.
You could have, by the sounds of it, gone into that route if you wanted to. There was opportunities there.
There was
to
definitely
go and work for him?
opportunities. Yeah. I was just. It sounds really corny, but that sort of free spirit, almost like I don't want to do that. Like, you've told me, like you've looked after me my whole life, and now I'm like, no, actually, I need to find my own way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's great.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, I'm not sure that's how I felt about it. Like, but now looking back, it's actually
Of course, that's what it was.
100%.
Sounds good on a podcast.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
I think you're right, mate. It was that. And it was good for you to go there, man.
Yeah.
So how long did you go travelling for?
First stint was a year, and then after that, I was like 2.5 years.
Right. Okay. And when you came back, did you feel like you'd found what you were looking? Oh God, that sounds corny, doesn't it? But like what you were looking for, did it do the job you were hoping? No,
no, not at all.
no. Did it just kind of delay the inevitable, which was, I need to get a proper job.
Yeah,
I need to get some money.
I went for a job. So I was working for. I did loads of stuff, but then I actually found a job that I actually really enjoyed. And it was for beIN Sports. Nice plug there. They're a sports channel across the globe.
Right.
And
Looking for sponsors.
And from there, I was sort of like, right, I'm enjoying this role. I really like the people I work with. I feel like I'm part of a family almost, and we get on, we go out, but it's also work as well. And I went for a role, and I didn't get it. And then I was like, oh, well, there wasn't any like what I didn't plan for not getting the role.
Right.
In my head, I'd already like, I'm going to get this. I'm going to stay. This is going to be amazing.
Spending your first paycheck and everything. Yeah.
And I was like, well, now I'm just going to spend all my money and fly home. And I did. And I got home and I was like, right, what do I do now? And then I went, I spoke to my brother-in-law, and he was like, look, he was running a sort of multiple agencies, and he sort of said, like, why don't you, like, I'll give you a sort of job, and if you like it, then, you know, like, go from there sort of thing. So I did like a couple of weeks with him, and he was like, yeah, actually, you know, you're really good at this side of things. And I sort of fell into this project management role. I then ended up like working with people like Lego, Mars, and their global teams. And it was, you know, it was good, but I didn't really feel like I was I was a part of, you know, like the team that we work with, but I didn't really feel like I was going to go anywhere with this. And then that's what got me in in even more of a rut. And I was sort of going to see Sam all the time, and, you know, like, just like, hey, you all right, Sam? How's it going? You know, and from there it sort of like clicked in my head. Actually, there is something I want to do. I mean, I've always wanted in my head to sort of, I guess, run my own business, but like, yeah, be my own boss, because that way it's me. It's not like working for anyone else or following my dad's footsteps. And I think that's where it all sort of started to like click into place.
Yeah, I think speaking from my own experience, and Sam, you could probably attest to this as well, having worked for people for a good number of years, there's a big element, and the motivator for me to set up my own was I just didn't want to work for anyone anymore. I just got so fed up of sort of dancing to the beat of someone else's drum. And even though, and again, you can, I'm sure this resonates, working for myself is some of the most acute stress that I've ever been through. 100%. It is my stress. It's self-induced. Yeah, there's variables that I can't control, but I'm doing it for me as a direct response to the work that I'm putting in.
Well, yeah, you get out what you put in. I firmly believe it, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's so, like even when it gets incredibly stressful, like, you got to try and smile and battle through it, because as you know, like, it's peaks and troughs, isn't it?
Yeah. It's the awful roller coaster cliche of everything. Like, you can have a week, 2 weeks, a month where everything is going in the right direction, and just a few things fall out of place and you come crashing down again. So going into Sam, so you've been working in menswear for 12 years now.
12 years, yeah.
So kind of bring me back to the stage then where did you guys keep close as you went down your sort of separate career routes? Have you always been?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay. Other than you buggering off.
When we were in Australia, we were still always in contact, of course.
Yeah.
And then Ed come back. I was working for a different menswear company as the menswear buyer,
right,
and manager. And I was there for 8 years. Fantastic business, very successful business. And then it was just time for me to go.
Right.
In the end, Ed wanted me to start something ourselves. We didn't know whether to do online, just an online store because it's like he can do e-commerce stuff like that.
Take me back to those then. Take me back to those conversations. How did that this idea that you had start to become the local merchants? Where did that come from, and how did it?
A lot of pissed up
materialise?
nights together, chatting about
Putting the
what
world
we
to
could
rights.
do. Yeah, what we could do together and stuff like that. And it was always me who was. Ed was well up for it, and I've always been a bit of a pussy, to be honest. I was like, look, I'm happy in my job where I am at the moment, stuff like that. It's going well.
Well, you obviously, there was the fact that you had a kid. And then it was like, oh, actually, it's like, I've got to look after this little human being now.
And then I just felt maybe a little bit stagnant in the end. So in the end, I just thought, I've got to do it.
So Ed in a way was kind of like coming there and stoking that fire in you to say, come on, we can do this.
100%, as well as my wife, drove me to start something. Yeah. And it's the best decision I've ever made.
I mean, I spent most of the money that was supposed to go towards the business just buying clothes from you to be like in the shop and be like, are you sure you don't?
That was your pitch. That was your way of just being in that environment all the time.
That's how it come about. It took a while.
So what clicked for you then to finally say, yeah, let's do it?
Well, lots of personal reasons really, and I just felt like I always had a drive of wanting to do something myself, be part of something, not just work for someone,
And it just felt like the right time.
Especially when I hit my 30s, and then I had a little boy, got a little girl now as well. Just felt if you don't take that risk, then what's going to happen? I'm still going to be doing the same thing in 10 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I didn't want to have any regrets, and I'm just happy I went for it.
It's a double-edged sword, isn't it? Being a parent.
Yeah.
Because you do have a different type of responsibility. I'm not going to say more responsibility, Ed, because I know you've not got kids, and I know there's a lot.
Cat.
Oh, well, that's the same.
That's not. Cats are shit.
But it's a.
You watch it,
I don't like cats.
Yeah,
but
no
anyway,
one does.
But I think it's a different responsibility in that I think some of the gravity of those decisions.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave the perceived security of an
that's
employed
exactly
role.
what was holding me back the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in the end, we went for it, and it took probably about 3 or 4 months when we started setting it up, and that's after about 3 or 4 months, that's when I realised, this is going to work. I've got faith in it. Like working with Ed is fantastic. We trust each other.
It was a bit of a roller coaster, though.
It is, of course, it is. Like,
I think
we're going to talk about that
before that. Like it was like is this actually going to happen, sort of thing? And it was sort of ups and downs, and then like, at one point I was like, it got to me, like I was like, if this doesn't go through, I don't actually know what I'm going
I need to go back to Australia.
I can't keep doing this.
Right. So this for you was like a very conscious decision that you were now ready to channel your efforts and energy into something that you knew you wanted to be a success.
I knew it could be a success.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we still got we've been doing it 2 years, which is mental, by the way.
Mad.
But
mental in what way? Does it feel like you've been doing it longer?
No.
You know what it is, mate? It's so strange because yes and no.
Yeah.
Like when I think of when we were like decorating the shop and stuff, we were doing it all. Me and Ed did it all ourselves and stuff,
Yeah.
to save costs, and that seems like yesterday.
Yeah.
But then there's certain times when I'm thinking about like I look at old like stock on our back database. I'm like, oh shit, I remember that. Then that seems like ages ago. It's weird.
Yeah, I know.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Speaking from my experience, because I've been coming to see you guys since you opened.
Yeah.
And it definitely feels like you've been. We're looking for a
Our
sponsor.
one and only customer.
but it definitely feels like you guys have been like just an integral part of that part of Lee Road for much more than 2 years.
Yeah, thank you.
And now I think it's because in part it's because of where you're situated. You're next to Colt Coffee as well, which those two places in terms of bricks and mortar premises on Lee Road, you just know them, and there's this sense of like, I don't know that. I don't know what it is. It's like a waypoint. Every time you walk past it, there's something really nostalgic about it, and you've been there for 2 fucking years.
Yeah,
like
man.
that's mad, and
is
that's because of what you've created there. So
Thank you, mate.
You should be
Thank you.
super proud of
that.
that.
Actually, without sounding corny, we said corny 3 times in this.
Yeah. I've never said it on this podcast.
That made me well up a little bit. Thanks, man.
I want to know a bit more about the process then. So you decide, you get Sam on board.
Yep.
Yes, you've got the buy-in.
Yeah.
What's the process then? So you go from having an idea of setting up a menswear shop. Where? Was Lee the location?
Yeah, so obviously I was at this business for 8 years. So in menswear with certain brands and stuff, you have to be outside a 10-mile radius. So a lot of brands won't start, unless it's a big populated city like London, Manchester, these brands won't work with you within 10 miles.
Understood.
So we had to think of somewhere outside of that zone. I definitely didn't want to tread on my old employers'
Yep.
toes. So we went on recce's. We were going around.
Just having a bit of a jolly up.
Yeah, jolly up. Yeah.
Was it always at a pub?
Yeah.
There's a bar crawl.
Past the end of the road. Yeah. What about if we just open opposite this pub?
Which is pretty much what you've done.
Yeah. Obviously, we've had many a trip to Leon Sea with friends, with family, or whatever, and there'd been menswear businesses there before, and a lot of them, they'd all come and gone pretty much. So it was always a bit of a red flag there. But in the end, we just loved the area so much. We saw the shop. We kept on umming and ahhing because we wanted the Broadway.
Yeah.
Because of obviously how much it is a lot busier. Maybe not now, but it certainly was.
Yeah.
But then this shop, we just slowly fell in love with it. I mean, it's a beautiful shop, as you know. Like
Yeah,
all
it's
the
stunning.
original windows and stuff.
What was there before? I can't remember.
Partners Hairdressers.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, it was a hairdresser's. Yeah,
Still
that was there
finding
for-
hair now.
Yeah.
I don't disbelieve that.
Yeah. And that was there for 40 years. I think.
I remember
30, 40
now.
years.
I remember all the chairs and the they had. I don't. Oh well, I'm doing a really bad job
or
of
like
describing this.
80s American pine.
That was it. Wood. I remember a lot of wood in there.
A lot of wood, yeah.
And this
okay.
like brick feature wall.
Yeah, with glitter in it. That
Very
smashed down.
sexy.
Stunning.
Very sexy wall.
Stunning.
Yeah, it was the sexiest wall.
So you found this sexy wall in this corner plot.
So we went in for the to take over the lease.
Wow.
And then just started buying stock,
Yeah.
approaching brands, and like something that we've wanted to do since we started the business. Like we're called merchants. We're called local merchants, which is funny because we're not actually that local. We should be called the localish merchants.
Yeah. Right.
But the store's local. That was the idea.
Yeah.
But a lot of the brands weren't in the UK yet.
Right.
So we wanted to represent them and be their first official stockists. We were approaching these brands, they're not in the UK yet, and they're sort of like, who the fuck are you? And a lot of them, like Berwick's Trousers, for instance, which is to this day, it's our bestseller, if not our second best-selling brand, an Italian trouser company that had never been in the UK. They wanted to break the market. And they started working with us. We approached them, we went out to Milan and started making meetings, buying stock, and then it was going to come in, I don't know, like 4 months later.
Milan, it wasn't again a jolly up. It's
it was a
it's
jolly up as
integral-
well as buying
integral
stock.
to the business.
Work and pleasure.
But and that's how it went.
So
Sorry.
So I'm just saying from the menswear perspective, you've I guess got the commercial expertise at this point.
Yeah.
Ed, you've got
I don't know
the
if you can call it that. Yeah.
well, yeah. I bet 12 years or 10 years at that point in and around the market. So Ed, you're bringing the commerce and the design flair and the marketing side of things to the table.
Yeah, I guess we're a multi-brand store, but in my eyes, when we were setting this up, is we need to make ourselves a brand, like the local merchants.
Yeah.
Like that needs to be the main. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for.
Dog.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect timing.
Shoehorn that in there.
Oh, no,
main
you
dog.
really thrown me off. But I wanted to make it a brand. I wanted to make it personable to us. Like when we were setting it up, it's an experience. I had to sell it all under this one thing. It's not just we're a clothes shop that sells clothes.
Yeah.
Like, and
Again, as cliche, like an experience as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is That
what
is,
we're about, really and truly. Yeah.
Is that the vision that you had before? You know, when you went to Sam and you're knocking on his door and saying, not literally, maybe you were, I don't know, but you're saying to him,
I guess
right,
I
come and
saw
sit.
him in his environment.
Right.
Like, it sounds crazy, but he's working, and the way we don't like to push clothes on people.
No.
We just want to dress people up because we want them to enjoy themselves and come out of it thinking, oh, you know, I don't need to wear these really skinny jeans or like just mixture of clothes that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like we were saying earlier, will look shit in 10 years.
Yeah.
Something that's relatively classic that will look good, you know, no matter the time.
Yeah.
And we're very passionate about clothes. We love clothes, but at the same time, we love people and having them in the store and giving them a good experience.
Yeah. I'm going to just share an anecdote of the first time that I came into you, because I'd been recommended to come into the shop by Jamie.
Yeah,
we just name and shame Jamie Milner, but because he'd been a client of yours for a customer of yours for a long time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Jamie had recommended to come in, and I hate
Jamie. Why?
I knew I shouldn't have left that pause, but I love you, Jamie. But I hate shopping. I hate shopping for clothes. It tends to be because I can never find anything that fits me.
Yeah.
The experience has always been shit.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of blokes, mate, a lot of blokes are like that.
Yeah, and there's nothing local. You know, my experience of shopping was going, definitely before I came to you guys, was either doing it online and having to send everything back because the sizes were crap, or going to Lakeside or Bluewater, which is shit.
Yeah,
like,
no
as an
comment,
experience, is just horrific to go round.
Well, there's no personality in these big department stores and stuff like that. They don't give a shit.
No,
about you,
exactly, yeah.
They don't care if you go home and your missus says you look like an idiot in that, you know, like, and then you never want to shop there again.
Yeah.
That's the opposite to what we want to. It's all about building relationships, as you know, and
well, this is
people
it.
trusting us.
Because the moment I came in to see you guys, I felt like, it wouldn't have mattered to you whether I'd bought clothes in your shop or not. And that might be because you were both incredibly good salespeople. But I went in and the first thing you said was just like, do you want a drink? Come and tell us about what you're looking for. I think I'd even dropped you a message on Instagram to say I'm coming in. Can you help me look at this and this? And I walked out of there having spent a bit of money, but it just felt for the first time, and I've told you this in visits since, it felt for the first time that I actually enjoyed a shopping experience. And if you can convert me, who is anti-clothes shopping and hates that whole process, to be a returning customer, then you've got to be doing something right in terms of that experience. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is we give alcohol to our customers.
That helps. I think that helps.
Hit him with that
straight
away.
They become weak, and then we just It comes back to that experience thing, and like Ed said a minute ago, not being pushy.
Yeah.
So my first time I went into a menswear job, I remember being a young kid and going into that shop when I wanted a Ralph Lauren polo, and it was like 60% off in the sale and shit.
Right.
And they're pushing on you, or they're looking at you like, oh, you can't come in here. Do you know what I mean? And that is the opposite to how shopping should be.
Yeah.
You should come in, you should feel welcome no matter what.
Yeah.
No pressure. But if you need our help, we'll help you.
Yeah.
You know, we've got your size out the back in anything you want. Just give us a shout if you need us.
Yeah.
And then if you trust us, then we'll dress you.
Yeah. Which is exactly what you've done for me.
Yeah. And
people like, you put all the clothes on and you come out and you feel, oh, well, we'd like to think you feel great. But honestly, we see you and like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Like we dressed 3 people today. One was a groom. One was had a party on. Well, I say a party. It was a send off, but celebrating their father. And then the other was sadly for a funeral. But all of them were dressed in completely different outfits, and they came out and they just went, I feel so good in this.
Yeah, nice.
Like I feel, mate. I mean, they all look tip top, all completely different body shapes as well, and we just managed to give them a really good experience. I hope, anyway.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what it's about, and we love it. Like we'll take photos of them, and then afterwards we'll put it on our socials. Like they look sick, man.
Yeah.
We get a lot of buzz out of that.
No, that's so good, and that satisfaction that is still the same, if not more. The longer the business goes on, you still get that buzz when people walk out wearing your stuff.
Well, I'm going to sound like a proper melt.
God.
But I mean, the first time that we put a sale through,
go on.
I started willing up.
Yeah, he did.
you?
Yeah, I mean,
mate, I like that. It's a big moment.
It was Simon Bond. Hello, mate. Absolute legend. He did all the plants for our store. And we put out just a few pieces of knitwear, hadn't we, like on the rail, just to see what it looked like. The shop was still like a carcass, really. There was
A building site-ish. Yeah.
And then we've just got the till system in, hadn't we?
yeah, I mean,
We didn't actually use
pressing a couple of buttons.
Yeah.
Like this, does that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Scanner like going in your eye.
And Simon busted through the door, and it was like,
Yeah, it was like, oh yeah, I'll have that. And I was like,
what?
what? It's like, yeah, I'll have that. I went, do you want to try it on? Like that. It was like, no, I know that'll fit 40-inch chest. I was like, or 38, sorry, Simon. And then, yeah. And then put it through and I got all welled up. I don't get like that with every sale. That
I mean, that's emotionally draining.
Now, so, it'd be emotionally draining.
Where's Sam? Is he in the toilet again? No, actually, he's out back weeping.
yeah, every time. But I still get I can't speak for it, but I'll get a big buzz, out of, especially when they put their trust in us to dress them in like something like today, like whole outfits, you know, and they're just like, what do you think looks good, rare, and then they do it and they're like, oh, that does look good. Yeah, I love that, man.
Nice.
Yeah, that's why I'm like getting all excited.
So you feel like it's almost mission accomplished in that regard, that you're providing that experience and people are now coming back, because it's the return custom, isn't it? Too. Yeah. So you get people coming back through the door.
That's the biggest compliment and the biggest good sign of what we do.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Amazing. I was just going to ask you, like, do you feel like there's elements, because you are very different characters, like you can see why you're friends, but you're also different characters. I think that's safe to say. So,
what you mean? I'm not the really tall, like laughy, loud.
Why are you doing this?
Sorry,
Height's not a character, but I do. But I think there's different elements of you. I mean, just listen to Sam. Like he's a loud guy, and he's obviously got that confidence. And Ed, I think your confidence is just more understated, is what I'm saying.
I'm not 6 beers in yet.
That's true. Yeah. I can imagine you
say that,
catch
but
up.
what's mental is I was nervous as anything to do this today.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And Ed weren't. It was like, what?
Yeah.
Just
Stone Cold Killer.
Stone Cold Killer. Exactly. No shaking with them hands.
But yeah, I would agree that we're two.
Yeah.
But we are very
different.
Your personalities complement each other. So, because if you were both maybe like you or like you, that's not going to work in a business partnership.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I guess the point I'm trying to explore is, as a business partnership, to date you've been really successful. You both just so happen to be best friends too. I'm just trying to think of how many times that does work. It's not. I don't think that's a common occurrence that best friends end up starting a business.
No,
and then that can always be really successful. So I think it's because you've got different characters that you complement each other.
Yeah.
100%. If we were both me, Jesus Christ, I'd get on my own nut.
I don't think anyone would be able to like hear anyone in the street.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you say you can hear my laugh from down the road.
Always, mate. Yeah.
The door's closed. so I think it works. We've had a rule since we started that if there's anything that annoys us, like we've done something and you've just nip it in the bud straight away.
You've got to communicate.
Yeah.
It's massive.
That's another thing is me and Ed are both as well, very like, we never lose our temper.
Okay.
Ever. If we have a disagreement about something, we discuss it.
Right. That's really good.
It's the best way, otherherise it won't work.
Do you think,
otherwise
again,
that's pent up?
Yeah, there's resentment that builds and bubbles over.
At the end of the day, we are business partners, and the business is very, very important. But we are best pals first.
Right.
Yeah.
That was one thing I was going to ask, because the dynamic shifts at a point. So, but the way you prioritise is best friends first.
Yeah. Well, that's how I mean, we've never had that exact discussion.
It's just an interesting comment, because I get the sense that that's the case. But it's interesting because, going into business with your best friend, there is a risk that those lines can be blurred at times. But you sound like you've got the right dynamic there.
We are friends first. Of course we are. Yeah. That's very, very important. I mean, listen, we as I say, we've always said that if something goes wrong, like I've probably annoyed Ed a lot more than he's annoyed me. He barely annoys me. He works at the moment, because I've got 2 little kids. I'm not there as much as Ed is. I mean, we still both of us do 6 days a week. It's a rarity that we'll do 5 days a week, because you know, we've only been open 2 years.
And you're open 7 days a week, right?
We're open 7 days a week. Yeah, we've got 2 members of staff as well. So,
Okay.
But I think for the first 5 years in a business, me personally, I think like the you know, the whole what do you call it, like life and work balance.
Yeah.
I think that you've got to put as much into work as you can personally for it to work.
Yeah.
But that being said, I'm still trying to spend as much time as I can with my
Yeah, I was going to ask then, because that leads to the question, like how it sounds like you've got a really supportive other half, and obviously your kids are young as well. But how bought in are they? So you said Victoria at the time where Ed was saying we need to start this business. She was banging the drum to do it too. So it sounds like you got that support at home to say,
oh, everyone supported
go and
me.
do that.
Like, my family, Victoria's family, Ed, of course.
Yeah.
But Victoria's very supportive still, like very understanding.
Yeah, great.
You know, like
you need that, don't you? Because if you've got that resentment at home,
I wouldn't be able to do it without that. But yeah, that being said, I still get one weekend day off with them every week, and I get to bath them every night.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
So I see them a lot more than a lot of dads would, but it's 6 days a week, you know. Obviously the trips we go. Oh, it's such a chore. We go to like Florence and Milan and stuff. We're going to Amsterdam soon, but that does, you know, you're away from your family, and then she's looking after 2 little kiddies, and when I'm not there, and But,
I have to look after you, I guess. You know, I have to.
And then Ed looks after me. Yeah, at least you don't have to look after a big baby. But yeah.
Nice. So there's that dynamic shift then, isn't there, between sort of you're at home, you're a hands-on dad, and you're a parent, and you're a partner, and then you come to work and you get to invest your energy in something that you enjoy doing.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. I enjoy both. I love being at home, but I love being at work too.
Yeah.
It's both. Very lucky.
Because this is something that, because you talk about work-life balance, and this is addressed at both of you, but I think I'm of the same mindset. Everyone goes on about work-life balance, which is subjective. It's going to be completely different to anyone that you speak to. Their version of what it looks like is going to be different.
If you think it's 50-50 and you own a business, then that's bollocks.
Well, so the whole motivation for me starting up on mine was to get a better work-life balance after I had my son, and he was 1, and I set up the business, and then I think zooming out, I've had a better work-life balance. If you zoomed out over the space of nearly 5 years now, it's been better.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's my own stress. It's the own pressure that I put myself under. But I would never say that trying to get the work-life balance, if that was the aim, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like it hasn't given me that.
Yeah. You won't have a successful business if you're doing 50-50 with...
But this is a really good point, because I think a lot of the narrative now from people that are... like we're against hustle culture now. So hustle culture is a bad thing. You know, working, 14, 15, 16 hours a day is a bad thing. Always trying to make sure you're looking after yourself and don't sacrifice your well-being is a bad thing. Yeah. But without an element of sacrifice, how the fuck are you going to grow something? 100%. How are you going to make it successful?
Yeah. I still think there's not enough hours in the day for what we do. I know it looks like we don't do much, but we do a lot.
No, of course you do.
Like we're non-stop.
You know, we're always trying to grow it. And do you know what? Even from the podcast with Dean, there's things that Ella, my partner's been saying to me that I know deep down that we should have done already, but I now think we're in a better space for it when it comes to more goals or milestones and stuff like that. And, you know, putting that pressure on myself, I mean, it doesn't help if a sale comes in and it goes ding, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay. So
is this an online sale you're talking about? You get notifications coming through,
yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, all right. We need to sort that out, and then you switch back on again. But I try to generally, when I get home, switch off. But then I know that we've got stuff coming up, and then all of a sudden it starts to unravel again, and I'm like, right, I need to build up on this plan that I've put in place. It's not quite right. So actually I probably don't really switch off. I like to think in my head that I do, but when you actually think about it, it's no, you know, like...
Yeah, I mean, you, and you won't mind me saying this, you build it up in your head a lot, like what we have to do, whereas I'm still, like we were talking about when I was in school, where I sort of plodded along, bare minimum. Right. I don't do the bare minimum now, obviously, but Ed is very... And it's good because I need it. I'm not...
That's where you complement each other 100%. Again. Yep.
We complement each other in a lot of ways. I'm a pessimist. Ed's an optimist. Hence, that's why the business come, because he wanted me to crack on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, it could fail. And then... and then, you know, he was the one who got me there. And then there's, like... recently we ordered. I say recently, last year. Remember when we ordered 30 shirts, right? Of this just one style, 30 of them.
Right.
I've never ordered 30 of something in my life.
Right.
The most I've probably ordered is about 15 of one style.
Okay.
And he's like, just fucking do it like that. And I'm just like, oh no, I don't know what to do. But he'll push me to do it, you see?
Right.
We ended up having 100% sell-through on it. They all went.
Wow.
But without him, I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not very organised. Ed's organised, but you'll build it up in your head a bit. Like, we've got so much to do, whereas I'm like, we'll get it done.
Yeah. Understood.
Don't worry,
Understood,
and we do tend to get it done, but there's a lot. Like Dean said on the podcast, we could probably organise that a bit better, and that is a lot my fault, to be fair. We could sit down and say, we want to do this by this date, that by this date.
I think a big part of that is like, we'd never run a business before.
Yeah, of course, man. We're still learning.
And we were like, you go into it and I'm like, I've worked with brands and stuff, and I've project managed this and done that. But actually, when it comes down to it, it's like, well, I need it to be right. Like, is this going to work or is that going to work? I don't know, And then...
What an amazing thing. Do you have any mentors or guidance or anything beyond the experience that you both got to help steer this?
No,
Fuck, that's terrifying.
I know, it's mental, isn't it? And then we're still open. Like Sam Giles has got Chin Chin and Toppers and Toast. He's become a very good friend of ours. Like he said, we were sitting down the other day. He said, "Would you say you're entrepreneurial?" I'm like, "No, not at all. I just like clothes. I like talking to people.
Yeah,
I like buying and selling.
Yeah."
That's it. I wouldn't say literally in sixth form I went to do business and they said absolutely not. You're doing drama or something like that. Which is worrying, but for some reason we're doing all right.
Maybe it's the thrill though, the risk taking. Like there are certain risks that I'm like, actually that's not a great idea. But like actually, it's like if we don't do this,
like we said earlier, if you don't do it.
You're going to learn from the cliche is that you'll learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
As long as it's not a catastrophic mistake that you're making. If it's mission critical,
well, that's the thing. We do play it. We play it safe. I think you have to, especially in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
And we have been playing it safe. Yeah, and it's working so far.
Tell me then, can you share one of the biggest mistakes you've made in business, or one of the biggest lessons that you've learned? Maybe I think I worded it as mistake to Dean, and then I reworded it as lessons. So what do you reckon one of the biggest lessons have been? You can both have one each. You don't have to agree on it.
Maybe not doing it sooner.
You say that not doing it sooner, but then
actually
pandemic.
Yeah,
that would have killed.
That would have killed some plans.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Have you fucked up at any point? Have there been fuck ups along the way?
Yeah. Sam had just had a baby, and it was
you didn't drop it.
It was no. I'm pretty good with kids. Come on.
Yeah, he is actually.
But it was the summer. It was hot. We'd ordered a lot of shorts, and they hadn't come in yet. And the shorts that we did have had sold. So I'm like scrambling. Where can I get stuff from? And I was like, look, Colourful Standard's great. So I went straight on their system, and I ordered loads of navy shorts. Yeah, they weren't navy.
They're still fucking sitting out the back. Bright electric blue though. I like. They're nice. They are nice. I do like them, but we didn't need about 30 of them.
Okay. You buy small in that, and you work
navy. You'll sell loads of navy. You won't sell that many electric blue. But if that's our biggest mistake,
you're doing all right. You're doing all right.
I'm trying to think. And of course, there's been lots of, but they're all little mistakes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that I'm like, oh my God, Jesus, that's massive. I think,
Well, don't struggle to search one. If you're 2 years in, I'm not saying it because it makes for a good soundbite, but I just think people will be interested if they're going through the same experience. You're going into this having never set up a business before, and you can be 2 years down the line and not had like a fuck up that's big enough to come into your heads right now. That's pretty good going.
I wouldn't say like nothing that catastrophic like oh Jesus like.
So I'd be then inclined to say when you're resisting that label of entrepreneurial or being an entrepreneur, actually there are a lot of elements of or a lot of boxes that you both check with that.
We obviously
you do. I mean, by definition, by default, you are checking those boxes, and you're doing it well.
I don't know what the exact definition in the dictionary is of an entrepreneur, but we're looking to grow it all the time. We'd like to expand it at some point. So I guess we are entrepreneurial.
This is the question, because maybe some of the strategy, Ed, that you play out in your head sometimes is getting other premises or getting a bigger shop, whatever that looks like. What are the plans for the business moving forward? Can you share anything?
I mean, right now it's just sort of like getting a few more seasons under our belt,
100%.
growing it that way. You know, we've built a team. There was just 2 of us. Now there's 4. Like there was 3. Now there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
And we do take the slow and steady approach, but we're always thinking about other things. We've got a collaboration coming up, which is
2 months.
2 months. Yeah, about that.
We want to expand, but we're not in a hurry.
Yeah.
We as we say, this is 2 years.
But that's a really measured approach to take, isn't it? Because I guess you're in financially, you're in a position maybe where you could explore that as a potential route if you wanted to. Because some people drive to their measure of success isn't about making something stable; it's about getting more shops or getting more signs on the door.
I mean, listen, and also I think you were speaking to Dean about this, about him and Asa. The boys, of course, are fantastic. Our staff. But the shop is still seen as me and Ed. We are the face of it.
Yeah.
We are the business. And for us to go off now and start looking for other premises and putting loads of effort into that, and we're never in that shop.
Yeah.
I think that would be detrimental.
What's it been like hiring people to come and represent your brand?
Honestly, piece of. We've been so.
You're going to make a lot of people jealous.
Like, honestly.
I know. Listen, and the day we do expand, I know
it's going to be tough,
and it can be tough. But we got Charles who works for us, and
he was your first employee.
Yeah. Okay. There's nothing about menswear he doesn't know.
Right.
It makes us look like idiots.
Right.
Come on,
if you
man.
could do it anymore. He's just great. He worked for New in Lingwood in Uptown, Jermyn Street. He was there. He ran the store for 10 years.
Wow.
And then Ben Raja, do you know Ben? He's just
yes, I do know Ben.
Yeah. Of course, you went to the wedding.
The wedding, yeah. The wedding.
The
wedding.
The wedding.
I don't know why we said it like that, but the wedding.
He was best man at, wasn't he? He's just started with us, and he's fantastic. I mean, he's got the gift of the gab. He's so easy to work with.
Brilliant.
Really.
Yeah.
Very.
So you've had a real lucky streak there with hiring 2 people that have gone well.
Do you mind me asking? Because would you like to have?
Yeah.
Would I like to have staff? Yeah. So funnily enough, I've just hired my first employee.
Amazing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, which is a big step for me moving forward as well, because I promised I'd never do it.
Oh really?
Yeah, I hate managing people.
I hate people.
I'm an arsehole to work for. Ultimately, that's always been my opinion of myself as a manager, is that I'm a control freak.
Right. So you can't let go. Almost.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is why I ask, from a hiring perspective, you guys birthed this business into life. You've been the face of it. Trusting people to represent a brand that is associated so closely with you is a big deal.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and it's nerve-wracking. It is nerve-wracking, but you got to have trust in the people.
You do.
And I have confidence in me and Ed and how we choose people and stuff.
Yeah.
We really think about it. It's not like we don't just go in and we just
drag someone off the street. You'll do.
Come on.
Yeah.
And we're lucky. We do have quite a few applicants that come in and stuff, so we really do knuckle down and think who's
right for the role.
Yeah, who's right for the role and who can we trust?
I think the nice thing about you two as well is that you've developed this brand, which is beyond just the local merchants. It's your own personal brand too. So I think you're going to filter out some people that maybe won't come and work for you, and that's a good thing. That's a really good thing, and that's what I advocate for a lot of the businesses I work with. You've got to some people that maybe work in your line of work will see your videos on TikTok and they'll see your videos on Instagram and they'll think, how can they market clothes like that? The clothes that people are coming in and spending a good amount of money to buy. I absolutely love it. That, but that attracts me into your shop, and it will alienate people that don't want to come in and be associated with a brand like that. But that's a good thing. That's a positive thing.
You're never going to be able to capture.
Everyone.
You can't please everyone.
And that was all Ed's idea.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's so good.
Menswear is especially classic menswear. Well, right, I say that with inverted commas. That
Yeah.
we do, you know, like jackets, tailored trousers.
Yeah. There's a stigma
loafers,
around it and how it's marketed and everything.
I mean, me and Ed go to parties now, and we laugh because we overhear conversations that these blokes are talking about, and they're like, they're talking about whether you should have a dimple in your tie or not, and they take it so seriously.
Right.
We were literally at a party. Someone was talking about that. 3 blokes outside. One of them had an umbrella over his arm like that, and it was like, ha ha ha. It looked like he's from the Victorian ages. He looked cool, but I was just like, And then I turn around and I'm like, where's Ed? And there's a little toy dog in the window next door, and he's going, hello boy, hello boy, hello boy. And I'm like, well, that's what we do. Like, we love the clothes.
Yeah.
But the clothes at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We like that they'll look cool in 10 years still and stuff like that, but it's just
you've
clothes,
got to have a bit of fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
you can. I mean, it is serious. You know, it's your life, it's your work. But if you don't enjoy it, then
yeah, man, it's not.
Never
it's not
it comes
worth
across.
Listen,
it really comes across.
Yeah, let's just say we ain't in it for the dough. But I love it. I love going to work.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it. Me and Ed just have a laugh all day. We work hard and
No, it's brilliant.
and
sick.
eat too much.
Yeah, eat too much.
And a lot of chili sauce.
Yeah.
A shitload of chili sauce.
Right, we're nearing the end. We're
Really?
nearing the end.
Oh
lads.
man, I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
getting warmed up.
Yeah, and I think I might have remembered what I was going to say.
Oh yeah,
No.
Right, one of the running themes on the podcast this season has been people based in Leon C, businesses that are based in Leon C, so creatives, entrepreneurs or business owners in Leon C.
Yeah.
It's been something I've been exploring as to why there's such a high concentration of people in this neck of the woods that are ticking those boxes.
Yeah.
What do you think, first off, that I'm making sense with that? Do you think that is a thing? I mean, you've named a couple of people.
Yeah.
Whose name I can't remember now. Sam.
Yeah.
You've named Sam as being he's a prime example of someone that runs a number of businesses in Leon C.
Yeah.
What is special about this area that first off attracts people to operate businesses here?
I personally think it's community. You come in, people accept who you are. You might, this really laughy guy and this guy, 6 foot.
6 foot 1.
6 foot 1 handsome.
But we fit in. Love our neighbours. We love Jamie.
Love
Sam,
Jamie. Have you had Jamie from Vino Vera on?
Yeah, he's been on.
Legend.
Yeah. His episodes
absolutely.
come out in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I make him
yeah.
jump every day.
Really?
I love it.
We make a point.
If he dies one day, it will be probably because of me.
We make a point of
will
going
die.
to every restaurant to eat. There's some that we haven't yet, but we make sure
supporting local.
Yeah, you have to
100%,
support local. When we do our photo shoots, I said to Sam, it's all good having it at the shop. The shop's nice and stuff, but why not do it in other businesses? One, we promote our clothes, and you can
promote them at the same time.
It makes sense.
Yeah,
no?
yeah. So it's to promote the community. I mean, we obviously live in Chelmsford, and it feels very different there, mate. I love Chelmsford. I don't, but it's very, very different. Independent driven. I mean, Costa got booted out. I don't know if I can say that on your podcast. Sorry, mate. You can believe
Yeah, no, you can say that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
they're
they
not
got
a sponsor.
people-
Not a sponsor.
Yeah, because people just didn't want to work with them.
Yeah.
Didn't want to work with them. Didn't want to go in and get their coffee from them because all the coffee shops there are the nuts for one. They're family owned or family owned businesses or whatever. And that's what drew us to it because it is like a little pocket of just a completely different feel to the rest of Essex. I feel anyway.
Yeah, I think that runs in a similar vein to what a lot of people have said. But usually, I'm speaking to people that have grown up around this neck of the woods. So, what was it like then? When I'm no one's going to be running at you with pitchforks, are they? Saying get the fuck out of Lee because you're from Chelmsford.
A few people.
Yeah,
Did you get any?
A few people.
Really?
Not like that. Like there was someone who was on the door like when we were about to open, and he was like looking up, and he's like, "Where are you from then?" I'm from just outside Chelmsford. He went, "Not very local, then are you?"
Oh,
Like that.
okay,
But he weren't joking. He
Yeah.
was being dead serious. I was like, "All right, sweet mate," and I was walking on. Fuck off. Anyway, he's been back and spent. So
You converted him.
He didn't hate
You
it that
converted
much.
him.
Yeah, but no. To be fair, everyone's been very welcoming.
Yeah.
honest, we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? I think we may not have worked as well, maybe, if we weren't from there.
Yeah, if we were from here, I don't think.
I don't know
Really?
if it would work as well.
Yeah.
Well, every community has like politics or whatever.
Yeah,
doesn't
of course,
it?
yeah. Yeah, like two new faces,
We've got-
friendly, like loud, chatty lads, and but you want to support a new business that comes in with that,
we had
with that
no
attitude.
connections here.
Yeah.
You know, we just came and
You haven't developed a clique because that is.
No.
I think that's one of the downsides that has been stated on some of the episodes that haven't necessarily aired yet, but. Some of the clickiness sometimes that you'll get in like small pockets, but that happens. You know, that happens.
It does, but we're very, very conscious of that, man.
Yeah.
Like, God, keep on saying it. But Dean's one about being therapists. We are therapists.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'll attest to that.
We will
Yeah.
talk to you. We like to, if we can, help out. You know.
Yeah.
But we will never, ever tell anyone what we are told in the shop. You can't. That's
table of
your
trust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's trust.
Yeah.
It's a relationship, and you know, there's lots of different people. Some people might not like each other or whatever. Like, no,
You'll get it wherever you go, though. Your little
any
pockets
town,
of community there.
Yeah, exactly. And we're very conscious of that.
Okay, so community. If you had to sum it up in one word,
I
it's
think
community.
that is right,
again.
mate. You definitely community feel.
They want you to succeed because if we succeed, they succeed. You know,
Yeah, brilliant.
It's just like that.
Yeah.
You should get that tattoos.
Thanks.
That'd be the soundbite, Ed. You've just made the soundbite. You've forgotten half of what you were going to say, but that is going to be the
But at the same time,
soundbite.
like, who wants to see empty shops on the high street? There's too many of them now, and it's a real shame.
The nice thing is, like, you've got Lee Road and the Broadway, and there's a couple that pop up as empty every now and again, but they filled pretty quickly with independents coming back in. Like, it's weird. I feel weird calling it a high street, but it is. For all intents and purposes, it's Lee's High Street, isn't it?
Technically it is, but as you said, it doesn't feel like that.
No.
It doesesn't. Like, and pretty much every shop you want to stick your head in and go and look at, don't you?
Exactly that, yeah.
Because it has personality. It's not just a phone shop or whatever. Like,
Well, do you know what? Let's address. There's two phone shops now.
Yeah, I know. What's that?
Let's
talk about
do you know
that.
what? I used one the other day. To be fair, I forgot
Did you
about that.
seriously?
Yeah.
Right. Because my take on it is, I've never expected they were going to green light phone shops on Lee Road, and now there's two in that stretch.
I'm not sure how they. I think they just set up shop. I think that's it.
Yeah, well, they just go.
You know, they've got
One night.
permission.
Squatters.
Boom. They're
Commercial
there.
squatters.
And it's impossible.
And people are just like,
What can we do?
yeah. They're in now.
But yeah.
fair. Yeah, I do. I mean, yeah, I've got my own opinions about Lee, but I think a lot of them are positive. A lot of them are really positive.
Well, if we are the last one, can you mention it or not?
What about the ones that aren't so positive?
No, just you're thinking of it.
Yeah, it's a good point, because I said that at some point in this season I want to try and wrap it up with like a conclusion. This won't be the episode where I do it. I
thought we had the
I
honour.
know you got to put me on the spot, but it's I think Charlotte. I don't know if you know Charlotte Sayer. So Charlotte owns the Boundary.
Charlotte and Dean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Like, her
brilliant,
episode was great, and the response to it has been brilliant. But she was the first person to say about community and that collaboration. Like, her big driver is that she wants to help people succeed. And the nice thing about Lee is that you can connect people within two names, and there may be a way to make money, a way to support a small business, or even start a new one. And that's what I like about it. So it's collaboration and community are probably the two words that I'm coming closest to describe like why people come here and why people are successful here. Maybe I'll do a little epilogue episode that covers the bits of the community that aren't so great.
Yeah,
but you're gonna have that.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
You're gonna have that anywhere, and it's gonna be completely subjective because it's just my fucking opinion. It's my podcast.
Do what I want.
Oh, that killed me.
Right, gents. Do you know what I knew this was going to be fun anyway, and you are honestly two of my favourite people.
Oh man,
Mate,
You've not been in my
thank you.
life for long, but I just want to say thank you as well, because you've given me a load of support in the
mate.
very short time that we've known each other on a personal level, and that's meant a lot to me. So thank you for
Thank
doing
you for
that.
giving
Thank
us
you,
the
Dave.
opportunity to come on.
Oh no!
no, thank you.
If I'd done a podcast and not invited you on,
know,
and I
yeah.
was doing it this, I'd be crucified.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
Are you getting your mum's question up now?
Hey! So this is usually a test when people go, we've listened to episodes.
Yeah.
I get to this point and go, I've got a closing tradition,
she's
and then
so
they go like
sweet,
this.
man.
They go,
Really
shit. I'm like,
Yeah.
you haven't listened to the
Is
whole
this
episode.
creepy? Is this creepy? Does she have blonde hair?
No, what the fuck?
Oh, okay.
What's wrong?
Stone Cold serial killer.
Cut that.
Right. So,
Oh, Jesus.
We
You can't
are-
turn my laugh down, can't you?
no. You're in. You're locked in now. Right. So, Mum's question. So, yeah, the closing tradition of the podcast is that Mum asks a question for you guys. Now, she knows roughly who you are, and I don't listen to the question before she sends it. So I play it down the phone. Right, let's see what she says.
Hi, Sam and Ed. I wonder if you could answer this question on behalf of John's other half, Sophie. How much does he actually spend in your shop? Thanks very much. Bye.
The laugh. It's the evil laugh.
I
that
know.
She's done as it as well.
Well, I mean, like, you know, we've got table of trust here.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
we're
obviously
talking
can't,
about
you
like-
obviously can't say a figure
No,
of what I spend. Thanks for that, Mum. I'm a good
He's-
customer.
Yeah.
I'm a good
He
customer.
is a good customer.
There you go.
Yeah, he's a good customer.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mum. Right,
I mean-
anyway.
Can I just say, you sound lovely. You sound lovely and blonde.
Don't know why I said it. Don't
We're
know why I
not
said
getting
it.
into this. We're not getting into this.
Yeah, but no, he's a very, very good client of ours, and you don't have to be a good client just to spend a lot of money.
Yeah, take
Oh,
the
yeah,
trust.
It's about just, like, again,
Yeah,
comes
just
back,
as long as you're a nice person and you trust us.
coming back in, having that chat, you know, like, we are there to help you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a multitude of ways.
Yeah.
Well, look, thank you so much. I'm going to let you get on with your evenings, and thank you for sacrificing a lot of your
Don't be silly,
night.
mate.
Thank
Our
you.
pleasure. You're a legend. Cheers, mate.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Cheers.
you.
Thanks for listening to Jobsworth. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can stay connected by following me on LinkedIn for more insights on the world of work, behind the scenes content, and updates on upcoming episodes.